All right, so Tucker Carlson came out, was doing a podcast here. I believe he's with Don Jr., the guy who does enough coke to kill a small horse. And he's going to give his thoughts on the Trump guilty verdict. Let's listen.
I think a lot of people yesterday when that verdict came down, I'm among them, my first reaction was, wow, they'll actually hurt us. Like they would execute us, me, I'll just say, speak for myself, and there would be an MSNBC panel of former federal prosecutors telling their audience that I deserved it, and they'd be laughing. And the Lincoln Project would send out a, congratulatory tweet, and I was like, wow, there's sort of a lack of humanity, there's a coldness, there's an evil under all of this that I think I underestimate.
Talk about melodramatic, man. They'd kill you? Who's they? Alvin Bragg? Letitia James? Who are you? Biden? Who are you talking about? The funny thing is, I remember growing up, we heard this 24/7, the idea that all the liberals and all the lefties have a victim complex, and they're, oh, woe is me, oh, you're always coming after us, they separate everybody into their groups, oh, you're being unfair to different races, you're being unfair to women, so on and so forth. You've all heard this a million times. That the right is all about personal responsibility and leadership, and the left, they're a victim culture. Well, what the fuck is this? What is this? Maybe the guy who's charged with 88 crimes committed 88 crimes. Maybe the guy who was found guilty on 34 in this instance, maybe he actually did it, right? It's so foreign to them. It's so foreign to them. They're so convinced it's political. By the way, all of them are convinced Biden is behind it, which for the life of me, I don't fucking understand. You think he's controlling every fucking DA at the city level, at the individual state level? You think he's pulling all those puppet strings? You tell me that on the one hand, and on the other hand, you tell me he's got dementia, and he's senile, and he can't get out of fucking bed, and he goes to bed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they need to pump him up full of all these uppers in order for him to get through a fucking speech. It can't be both, bro. It can't be both, but they try to have it both ways, depending on the moment. They try to have it both ways, just like Trump when he goes out there and says, charge Joe Biden, go after Joe Biden, lock up Hillary, but also total presidential immunity. So you can't go after any president except Joe Biden, me, but you have to let me go. Everything was right. I did everything right, and they indicted me. It was perfect. We got more for you. So he doesn't just stop there. He goes further. Here we go.
But you saw this on January 6th, too. I mean, I know that Joe Scarborough and the rest of the liars presented those people as like insurrectionists and dangerous. They were actually...
You have to be a liar in order to think there was an attempted insurrection. You have to be a liar to believe that. Not, hey, I understand where they're coming from, but I disagree. I don't think it was an insurrection. I don't think it was a coup. I thought it was more of a protest that turned into a riot. No. You have to be a liar to think it was an attempted insurrection, even though we have fucking personal correspondence where they're admitting it's an insurrection. Okay.
Most pure-hearted and 100%. The most naive about the... I mean, they were literally...
Did you catch that?
Dangerous. They were actually the most pure-hearted and 100%. The most naive.
Talking about the January 6ers.
I mean, they were literally walking with pocket constitutions saying, no, you can't do this.
So the people who support the guy who said, terminate the Constitution, they were carrying pocket constitutions, so they're great patriots. They're supporting the guy who wants to terminate it, and he said he wants to terminate it. But now somehow they're the bastion of constitutionalism? I can't with these people, bro. I can't. Look, he's smart enough to know how dumb this is. He is.
They believed in the system much more than the people who put them in prison who don't believe in it at all.
Without question. And you saw that. I mean, then
he's saying all these people who did January 6th, they are more institutionalists than anybody else in the country. They would literally tell you they're not institutionalists. They would tell you all the institutions are corrupt. They would tell you, burn this bitch down. The whole point that a lot of these people voted for Trump was to throw a brick through the window of the establishment and turn it into a Trump dictatorship. Why would you... Okay, now we got this fucking idiot weighing in.
Without question. And you saw that. I mean, the narrative was pushed so much. The clips that they used were designed to create something that didn't actually happen. I mean, it's so sick. I always say, it was the first unarmed insurrection in the history of insurrections.
Oh my God.
It's never happened before, but arguably... I'd say probably the most heavily armed populace if they wanted to have been.
By the way, at the time it was going on, Don Jr. was freaking out. Don Jr. was texting his dad and texting his chief of staff and being like, hey man, he's got to fucking get out there. He's got to tell them to chill the fuck out. This has gotten out of hand. That's what he was saying at the time. Now he's out here, bro, they're pure-hearted and they're naive and they love our institutions and they love the Constitution, bro. And it wasn't an insurrection, bro. How do these people respond to the fact that we know Trump and his team had a fake elector slate? Their words, not mine. Fraudulent elector slate. Their words, not mine. They said internally in their own emails that this is sort of an illegal thing we're doing, and they went ahead with it anyway. How do you respond to that? If this was so pure-hearted and there was nothing wrong that was done here, how the fuck do you respond to the detailed plan to overthrow the results of an election? He was trying to overthrow the election. He was trying to stay in the White House even though he lost. What do you want to call that? If it's not an attempted insurrection, if it's not a coup, what do you want to call it? Look, I agree. It was a bunch of fucking morons who had no plan, and the people on the ground weren't as connected to the people on the top. The people who were trying to do the fake elector scheme, it was a much more highfalutin, lawfare attempt to stay in office, and it wasn't necessarily directly connected to the people who were the stormtroopers on the ground who were storming the Capitol. But remember, part of the plan was also interrupt the process and the procedure where they basically make the transfer of power. Block Congress from doing their job on that front. Again, what do you want to call it? You pick the word. If it's not a coup, if it's not an insurrection, or an attempted coup or attempted insurrection, what do you want to call it? What do you want to call it? I'll use your terminology, but it is what it is. It's call a spade, right? So you heard, they tried to say it was violent. It wasn't fucking violent. These were nice people. Okay, all right. Well, let's see. What do we have here? Okay, we got some video from the day. Okay, I guess we could take a look at that.
We're going to give riot warning. We're going to try to get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
35 to 50 be advised, Capitol Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
We have a breach of the Capitol! Breach of the Capitol!
It's the classic hang Mike Pence chant. The cops desperately trying to hold him back, being unable to.
We need to hold the doors of the Capitol. I need court support. We lost the line. All MPDs get back. All MPDs get back up to the upper deck. All MPDs get back to the upper deck.
Hitting, you could see that they're hitting officers here, trying to get in. Show that one more time, look.
They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love. The love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, very peaceful. Very peaceful. Look, I got no problem. If somebody disagrees with me politically, that's totally fine. But don't fucking bullshit me. Don't fucking lie and bullshit and say things that are obviously bogus. Okay? That's where I have an issue. And that's exactly what these two idiots do 24/7. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.